Hello, everybody. Let me know if the volume is okay. This is one of the first times that I've actually went live out with the Political Matrix, but they're having the actual, as you guys can see it, I'll show you guys in a minute. Back behind me, where a lot of the actual protesters are stood up, waiting out, and they are protesting vociferously against the wars and against NATO. You guys know all of the different things that we have been talking about on our show, and that a lot of other people are talking about. Whether your perspective is that you have a problem with some of the people who might be speaking in the DC rally, or difference of opinions with the Libertarian Party, regardless of that, I feel if you're a person who is conscious of the state of the world, World War III is literally at our doorstep. So if any of those other causes that you have in mind that you want to keep going, this is something that is an existential threat that you would have to deal with first and foremost. So that's a little bit of an intro. So I figure I will show you guys around what it looks like here on the ground. So bear with me. It's my first time doing it this way, but let's see what we got. Here are the actual protesters here on the ground. And hopefully we can try to get in and get a couple of interviews and hear the perspective of some of the people here on the ground. As you guys can see, we have the Syrian flags. We have Zelensky is a rabbit dog sign here. So let's show you guys a little bit more, see what's going on. Would you like to speak your perspective on the protest here today?
Maybe better speak to one of the organizers.
I'm just here to speak to anybody that's want to talk. Everybody's point of view matters.
Oh, there's this guy right there.
All right, so they're going to get us one of the organizers that's going to speak on their behalf. So it's good to be able to hear what everybody is talking about in their perspectives here on the ground. My opinion is everybody's opinion matters. So whoever would like to talk, that's perfectly fine. I know there are many different issues that are being raised about no more funding of the military-industrial complex, about free and Julian Assange, about no more money going to NATO, the money going to Ukraine, a lot of different things that have been brought up in the 11 demands. And so I figured that we'll just hear what the people here on the ground feel like and what they would like to share with us.
That gentleman.
Next gentleman right here. Hello, how are you doing?
My name is Ray Said.
Hi, I'm Young Morpheus with the Political Matrix, and I'm just here to kind of cover the rally. I want to hear perspectives. You're right here, you're on camera, we're live right now. So any message that you'd like to share with the audience?
Okay. My name is Ray Said. I'm the coordinator of Arab Americans for Syria. We are here today to ask the United States to stop the Caesar Act, which is sanctions Syria. It's a criminal act which was adopted by the U.S. Congress in 2019, which prevents the Syrian government and the Syrian people from getting any aid from abroad. You cannot deal with the Syrian banks. You cannot import medicine. You cannot import anything to Syria. The U.S. government said that it's, to weaken the Syrian government, but actually it's killing the Syrian people.
Yes.
Because I was in Syria myself 3 months ago, and I stayed like 90 days. In Syria, there is no fuel, there is no electricity, there is no banks. Even my phone, my bank account stopped when I got to the Syrian borders. So Syrians are suffering. Syrians are in need of any help, international help, especially after the 7.7 earthquake that hit Turkey and Syria. We are even not allowed to get anything from the Red Cross.
And that's what I know that they had already came up that with before the earthquake, and that's already a travesty that they're punishing the Syrian people. But even after these mass tragedy that's happened with these tens of thousands of people, I believe the last number I heard was somewhere between 30 to 35,000,
46,000.
46,000 dead.
6,000, dying. More than that, the Syrian government, all we want is just to lift the sanctions. We can help ourselves, but all the aid goes to Turkey from the European Union, from the United States, from the NATO countries, and Syria got nothing, absolutely nothing. If they tell you that they send to Syria, they send it to their cronies, to their
Yes.
colleagues in the north, in Idlib, ISIS,
Yes.
the other, terrorist groups over there.
Just
But
today
in
they
Syria,
killed
yeah.
100.
Yeah.
Today, just today.
Yeah.
Wow,
They-
today they did?
107 of them Syrian soldiers.
Mm.
They killed hundreds of them.
ISIS?
More than that, ISIS now is just getting active in Palmyra and they're killing, civilians. All we want is that this Caesar Act is made by the U.S. Congress. It's not United Nations. It's not the Security Council. It's just to kill the Syrians. All we want is to live in peace and hands of Syria. Leave us alone. Leave us alone. The United States is stealing the Syrian oil,
Yes, definitely.
occupying our country in the northeast, helping Assad, helping ISIS, everything. And they tell you about human rights.
Yeah, I know.
They do that about democracy. Screw it. Sorry to say.
Because no, you don't have to apologize at all. I have a free speech platform, and I just want to hear the real, actual perspective. And I want my audience to be able to hear those actual perspectives, which you don't hear from the media. And so they always talk about sanctions, and this is against the government, and this is to attack this person. But normally, the sanctions always trickle down to the actual average people, and I don't think that's focused on enough when they start talking about all these sanctions that they typically do.
I want to say one thing to my fellow Americans.
Yes.
Do not believe anything comes on the American media. Fox News, CNN, Reuters, anything. It's all BS. They don't say the truth. Absolutely. There is no truth in it. Syrians are dying. We need help. We need the international community to help us. It's the time of disaster. We are deprived from our rights. Imagine in Syria, to be in Syria with no electricity. You don't have refrigeration. You don't have air conditioning. You have nothing. If you live in a high rise, we have to go all this. They stole our oil. They stole our wheat. They are stealing our cotton. And they are helping the terrorists to kill Syrian people.
Yeah.
They burned it. Yeah.
So not only are they stealing it, they're just destroying it for no reason.
Destroying.
I mean, just robbery, and you can see it. You can see it by video. 1,000 or 100 tanker get the oil from here, and all walking, driving in the desert, taken to NATO Turkey. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And sold them there. And under watch of the Turkish army, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So, and if I ask you questions, what do you think in your mind? How many percent of those people who got killed in the earthquake, they were Syrian? What do you think?
The way the media portrays it, they portrays it as majority of the people, easily 60% or to 70% are on the Turkish side, and those are the real victims.
That's not
And
true.
it's just a couple of children who have died.
Is it more than 75%? The people who get killed, they are Syrian, whether in the Turkish side or in the, because there is a 2-3 province. It's taken by Syria a long time ago, taken by Turkish,
Yes.
by Turkish army, by force, occupied those, Iskanderone, Ghazi Antab, and other state, all those Arab, Alawi, and Syrian originally, but then under occupied of Turkish. And most of the people who get killed,
Adana, Orba, Kilikia, and Liwa Iskandar.
all
Over 165,000 kilometers more.
all those people get killed. I mean, you can cover 80% from Syria. and 95% of the around the world or United Nations help is going to Turkey.
Yeah, definitely.
And Turkey is not gonna.
Oh, and I know.
You know Turkey. I mean,
From somebody who's and full disclaimer to everybody, I'm former military, and I was part of what was it, Iraq and Afghanistan veterans who started protesting against a lot of these war efforts, because once you're, especially at the time when I went in the military, you don't get a lot of these outside sources. There wasn't a lot of internet or any of this stuff. And so it took for me to actually go firsthand in these countries and start to see a difference. And I actually been to Marmaris, Aztec, Istanbul, and places over there and started to see a difference.
More media today.
Yeah.
The Black brothers going to the war without asking.
Yeah.
Because we remember in the 70s when Muhammad al-Khalai, Malcolm X, and whatever, even Dr. King before, isn't all the time the black men were asking where I'm going. I'm not going to go and kill poor Vietnamese.
Yes, exactly.
They're going to jail. They'd rather to go to the jail than go to the war. Unfortunately, I see today a lot of black brothers, they became victim of the criminal U.S. Army.
Yeah. Well, what happens is, what's happened is because of the communities have been so impoverished, and the way the system is set up, if you don't have college education, it's hard to get ahead in the system. So normally the only way is if you don't have some kind of a sports scholarship, you normally get it from the military, i.e. where I got my GI Bill and stuff from, and that's the hook. They put you in there, and then once you're in there, which a lot of people don't realize, is you sign so much paperwork that if you even breathe the wrong way, you can be facing charges. And if it's wartime, they literally can do what's called a field court martial. They can literally bring you out and shoot you right there on the spot if you do not follow orders. Yes.
Bloody benefits for them.
But they will shoot you in the army.
They can, if it's during wartime. They literally can do a field court martial, find you guilty, and kill you right there on the
You
spot.
speak out against them?
Oh, I've definitely spoke out
No,
against it.
I said, when would they shoot you if somebody speaks out?
Military law.
Well, if you don't follow orders.
Oh, okay.
And what a lot of people don't realize is, even in the military, you cannot speak against the military. You can't say, well, I don't agree what President Bush is doing. Well, at that time, President Bush was the president. But you can't say, well, I don't agree with what Biden's doing. I think what Biden is doing is criminal over there, and I don't want to go for it. That alone can get you court-martialed.
Oh, wow.
We are here today asking our American friends just to be humane. Write to your Congress, man. Write to your...
Yeah, turn to the camera and tell them.
We are here today to ask our fellow Americans just to call their representatives in the Congress to just help us to lift the sanctions on Syria. This Caesar Act is a criminal act. It's targeting the Syrian people. It's targeting the poor. It's targeting everything in Syria. You are not weakening the government.
No,
you are making the people hold more to their government and support more government, because the only enemy now in Syria is the USA.
Exactly.
It's not the American people, it's the American administrations. And unfortunately, American administrations, they are blind, or they do it on purpose. They support terrorism. From the Contras to Bin Laden before, and to other groups in Cuba or whatever it is, they do it.
Well,
they
you
use
go.
those criminals. American people have nothing to do with that.
Well, the same thing with Haiti and Dominican Republic and all of these things that have been going on, and throughout Africa. And the Americans' war machine. I understand this is a big integral part of the protest out here today. Along with, if we could stop the war machine in general, then it would stop affecting all of these issues.
Why you have your troops in Syria? To steal the oil.
Yeah.
This is what Donald Trump said.
And protect the terrorism.
And protect the terrorists. That's very easy.
I'm sorry to do.
No.
If they leave us, move their army from there, we take care of ourselves.
Yes.
Yeah. If you are there to help us get rid of ISIS.
Definitely.
But you want to divide the area. You want the Kurds to have their own. You have the terrorists in Idlib, the ISIS and Tahrir al-Sham, whatever they call it.
Yeah.
And those are supported by Turkey and by the United States.
Oh, I know.
And when they get aid to Syria, they get aid for those criminal groups that they are in the north.
Yeah.
All we want is to lift the sanctions and leave us alone.
Yeah.
Hands off Syria, no sanctions on Syria.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
I
Well,
appreciate your
thank you so much for taking the time to talk to the audience. Thank you also, sir. Thank you.
What's your name?
My name is Marcus Cage.
Is it possible to get a copy of this video?
Yes. My channel that this is on is the Political Matrix.
Wait, just give me your, if you don't mind, give me your phone number so I can.
Yeah, sure. I'll make sure. Here, I'll mute it. I don't want to.
I can watch.
Yes, and I'll definitely let you know where you can watch it. Yes, I have a channel, and yeah, we're streaming live right now.
What is the name of the channel?
The Political Matrix.
Wow, great. Do you want a t-shirt?
Sure, I'll take a t-shirt.
What's your size?
Extra large. As you guys can see there, having that one point interaction with that Syrian gentleman going into explaining like what's going on, what these sanctions are doing. It is important that people write to congressmen, and that way you can say that I am trying and doing my best to try to not be a part of the tyrannical government that is doing these types of things. Exactly. Lift sanctions on Syria. So let's go in. Let's see if we can see a little bit more of the protest. And anybody else who would like to speak, they're definitely welcome.
Do you want my friends?
Sure, yes.
I don't mind speaking.
Sure. Let me lower it down for you. All right.
Yes, I'm at this protest to end the siege on Syria and end the war on Ukraine. It's just very, very upsetting for me. I'm from Middle East, and I know people are suffering there. The siege is starving people. 90% of the Syrians, they are under poverty rate, and they don't have electricity, they don't have food. U.S. is helping the Al-Qaeda and ISIS up north, which most Americans don't want to believe it, but it's the truth. And please don't send aid to Oxfam or Doctors Without Borders. All those are going to Al-Qaeda, to the opposition against the Syrian government. We need to tell our congressmen to end the siege on Syria, because it's killing the civilians. It's not going to get rid of Assad. Please, end the siege on Syria. Thank you.
Thank you. And I guess they said, ask them about their thoughts on Ukraine. Are you familiar with what's going on in Ukraine, and what's your thoughts?
Well, it's a NATO criminal organization of NATO is heading to east to the east border of the Russia. They are after the Soviet Union fell apart in the Reagan era. They promised Russian to not get to East Europe. They break the promise. They took all the Eastern Europe and changed them to member of NATO.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as they changed to NATO, they put all the weapons against aiming Russian border.
Mm-hmm.
When they try to do the same thing with Ukraine in the time before 8 years killed total 15,000 of Russian living in Ukraine, men, women, children. And Russian many times warn everyone, war in the NATO, war in the United Nations. Nobody want to listen to the Russian. That's why the Russian took the action to save the special operation, military operation, to save the Russian inside the Ukraine, because these nations, they used to live together. and Ukraine was not part of the NATO. So these are the NATO is the one coming attacking Russia because coming to the border, try to take Crimea. Crimea historically has been for Russia.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and the separate other part of the Soviet Union is these are the part like Crimea and many part to became a pending situation status. The NATO one side give status to those things without asking Russia. So Russia took Crimea and saved the people, Russian people in the domestic and the other province in the eastern of Ukraine. So that's what the war started. United States and allies sent all the tax monies from the people in America and England, all sent with money, sent it to Ukraine, and criminal Zelensky, he's the one who started the war with Russia. You know what I mean? Started with Russia. This guy has never been a politician. He's just a comedian.
Comedian, yeah.
Used to be comedian.
And he's backed by billionaire.
Backed by billionaire, backed by many dangerous organizations around the world, including the NATO criminal NATO. So, as the war is about destroy Russia. It's not about Eastern Ukraine used to be rebelled because they never get a justice there. And now the Russia is fighting, not fighting Ukrainian people, fighting the new Nazi in Ukraine.
Oh yeah,
The new Nazi, those people. I mean, if you were in shoes of Putin, his nation in the second war lost 27 million people because fighting with the Nazi.
definitely.
Now the new Nazi is growing in his backyard.
Yes.
What is your reaction is going to be? That's what Putin acting, and all the Russian nation behind him.
Yeah.
And that's natural war against the dangerous come to this nation. But the cooperation of the war in Ukraine is part of criminal organization around the world from the capitalism coming to join this unfair war with Russia. Russia is the most peaceful country in the world. They never attack country. We are United States attacking 200 nations last 100 years. We kill 1 million people around the world. We are the one bombarding Nagasaki and Hiroshima. We are the one bombarding Vietnam, killing 3 million of Vietnamese. We are the one who went to Iraq, killing the president of Iraq and killing 3 million Iraqi. We are the one that changed the regime in North Africa, in Libya, in European France, Chile, 1.5 million Algerian, European organization NATO have a historic criminal record. We need peace for Syria. Syria have no war with the United States. What is United States occupying part of Syria in north of Syria, taking the oil from there and selling as a bizarre foreign policy for the United States. This is big nation and rich nation. Why is it only fighting with a poor nation around the world? Stopping this war. Stopping this war. Stopping this war.
I appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, you guys all heard it there. I mean, there's a lot that, I mean, I know those that are in our typical audience, they're familiar with some of these things. They know them and they agree with the sentiments here on the ground. But this is more or less for us to be able to try to reach out to some of those people who are outside of our sphere of influence, and hopefully that it can influence some of these other people. Let's see who else we can talk to. Or here, let me show you a little bit more what's going on down here.
stand up for my values and my principles. And, although it was an effort, you know what? You got to stand for something. You want to improve the world. You got to put some effort into it. But it's not going to happen by itself. Well, thank you.
Hey, how you doing? Would you like to speak? Here. Well, it's all right. I'm pretty sure people would still love to hear your opinion.
He actually led me into this. Not led me. He just knew questions to ask. I mean, I don't know who he is. I don't know his name.
So what's your name, sir?
I'm the people of California.
People of California.
Sometimes I go by John San Patricio on the radio.
Okay. I'm Marcus Cage, or also known as Young Morpheus, part of the Political Matrix, one of the two hosts, and I just want to kind of hear, some of the thoughts and sentiments here on the ground, what the people feel, and hear it from their own voice.
That's good. Good to come out. What side of the political aisle are you?
I'm non-political at this point. I started off kind of more as a kid. I was a traditional Democrat, and eventually got more and more left, and then just felt that the corruption of the system was so entangled and corrupt that it was hard for me to even back aside, because even if I pushed for some of the things that I believed in, I believe that even if we got some of these things, they were going to be corrupted no matter what.
Yeah.
And like, for instance, when I was in Florida, they had what was called the Key Lime Pie Act. That sounds harmless, right?
Is that a voting rights or something?
Yeah. Well, what they snuck in the back door of it is to move the capital of the state and throw a bunch of different taxes on things like that. And so when I started noticing that even the things that sound like it's just simple, it's not simple. Exactly. Yeah. Oh, we're gonna name the key lime pie the state pie. Nothing wrong with that, right? Well, then you start finding out all these backdoor things which they do. And like, one of the things I pushed for when I was living in Kansas is they were doing what was called a ghostwriter tax. That ghostwriter tax was anybody who didn't pay their utilities, they were going to put that on the remaining people and just spread it out no matter what, and everybody's rates just go up. And then they're still, on the back end of that, they were still going to charge it as a loss and still make money on the other side. So they were going to double dip off the people, raising our rates uselessly.
Yeah, and
Well, the Koch brothers run Kansas, right?
Yes, they do.
That's like a libertarian policy, and that's like not a small level, a big L libertarian.
Yes.
Which is like, screw the poor people. How do we do that? I'm rich. Let's stay rich, and let's screw the poor people while we're at it.
Definitely.
So, I used to have a radio show.
oh, really? Which was that?
Huh? Back in the set, right?
Yeah, I want to know what's going on with KPFK right now.
I lived there between CIA takeovers. There's another window when you can work there between CIA takeovers at KPFK and Pacifica.
Wow.
Well, that doesn't surprise me, because I just learned recently that the FBI is doing their what was that program headed in the top of my mind? COINTELPRO. They're into it again.
Well,
It never stops. That's the thing.
Okay. Well, see, I haven't given up. Still doing my homework.
When they were told that COINTELPRO was unconstitutional, they switched it to make it anti-terrorism, and it was the same targets and the same program. And now the terrorism, it's going to be biosecurity program, or who knows, but they'll change the names of it. It's always going to be the same program.
Well, especially after the Patriot Act, it allowed them to have more umbrellas to basically shield themselves from you knowing exactly what's going on. Unless you're somebody who has the time to literally go and file FOIA Act after FOIA Act, to sit there and literally read through pages and pages of documents.
That's what happened to Seymour Hersh.
Yeah.
None of the big papers or media would publish it or get the word out. So he has to go to a website, which is okay, and get it out that way. That shows you how CIA synchronized the governments into everything.
Well, this goes back to the Telecommunication Acts that happened under Clinton. That's the reason why I say both sides of it are doing this.
The only
This was a CIA operative since his time in London. That's why they had all those spy files following him around London. When you go on vacation, the FBI and the CIA don't follow you around. But if you're a spy, they find spies to spy on their spies so that they can check their reports and see that they all line up. So that way they know that you didn't meet with the Russian ambassador and get clipped.
Yeah.
So that's why everyone had all that information on Clinton. He was a George H.W. Bush intelligence operative going back to England, and then he became the governor of Arkansas, with the Mina airport and ran all that cocaine. And if you see that movie American Made,
Yeah. Oh yeah.
he's the guy who basically canceled the prosecution on Barry Seal.
So, ever since I could vote, a registered Democrat, have usually voted straight line Democrat. There was a few years like Clinton and I forget some other ones, where I wouldn't vote for her, but I certainly wouldn't vote for a Republican. And I struggled with Biden, and then I thought like when he followed through with the pullout out of Ukraine, maybe he reconsidered his military ways. But then, a matter of months, we're into another, or a year, we're into another. Well, actually, we had this going on.
Well, see, and I like to tell people this. That, the way the media framed us pulling out of Afghanistan was that, oh, well, we've kind of accomplished our purpose, plus we're kind of starting to lose ground. That's not what happened. What it is they've extracted enough of the resources that they needed out of that area, and now it's time to move on. And the military-industrial complex needs to make more money on a bigger project, because what it is these people are almost like cancerous, genes. They need more and more and more to take over, and they've already sucked this carcass dry. So now let's move on to another area, and I think this is a very dangerous game that they're playing.
I think we're still in Afghanistan.
Oh, of course we're still in Afghanistan.
Anti-terrorism mission, right?
Well, we never leave a country.
Right. What I'm saying is, Trump was like, I'm going to pull our troops out, and the military really couldn't. And then all of a sudden, this information started coming forward, like, oh yeah, it's a huge $1 trillion boondoggle. We're never winning anything. And here's the thing: in 1996, Zbigniew Brzezinski wrote a book called The Grand Chessboard. And he draws a big, kind of oval around this area right here that the next and last world empire is going to control. And Afghanistan was in it. And so that's why they did 9/11, so that they could get into Afghanistan, and Iraq's in it too, and everything all the way from Morocco to Afghanistan. And Afghanistan borders China, and Pakistan. And we just did a coup in Pakistan to get rid of a guy who wasn't following our orders 100%. We've been keeping the Pakistan.
Yeah, we've been talking about a lot of that stuff that's been going on with what is it, Amran Khan?
Trying to arrest him for telling the truth. That's treason.
Of course.
So anyway, I just think that we say we pulled out Afghanistan, but we're still now we're right over the border in Pakistan. We just did a coup to make sure that we're control that.
Don't cross her.
And so when Biden pulled the troops out, and maybe it was a debacle as far as the way he did it, but it was a managed debacle.
Oh, definitely.
So that we can have an excuse to go back in a couple of years.
Of course.
We never leave Afghanistan.
We never leave any country. If you think about it, how long ago was World War II? And how many of those countries are we still in? We're still in the parts of North Africa from there. We're still in Germany. We're still in Japan. I mean, we're still in many of those nations. We're still in Italy.
Yeah.
I was literally stationed there in Sicily, in one of the places where the United States went in.
It wasn't until this year I realized, I was informed on one of these YouTube channels that Italy has 2 American bases with nuclear weapons on there. It's like, really?
I worked at Naval Air Station Sigonella in Sicily, which at that weapons at where I work at the weapons station, and so dealing with NATO weapons and all kind of stuff like that. So I know the capabilities of what we have, and not only there at the base in Sigonella, you have what's called Augusta Bay, which is like an outpost that we have that where we store a lot more weapons. I'll just say that much. And what a lot of people don't know about that command is Sigonella is the #1 weapon supplier of weapons to the Mediterranean. Sigonella, that base there in Sicily. So anything that's happening that has to do with the Med, that base gets very, very busy supplying the weapons to a lot of not only naval ships, it's a NATO mag also. So the NATO allies, they're supplying them also and storing their weaponry.
Isn't that island in south of India, Garcia?
I know, yeah.
That's another one, isn't it?
Yes.
Another one that's like
That's
that.
the Chagos Island, stolen from their people by the British, and then handed to the Americans. And they're still at the UN, like saying, "Hey, you stole our island." The UN's like, "Yeah, they did.
Mhm.
What are we going to do about it?" And the U.S. controls the Security Council, so they're going to, and the British and the French.
You know what?
They'll always veto
I
that.
think it'll help people understand this because it is very complex. You kind of said it in one sentence. Their resources, like this.
Yeah.
For me, I never understood because I mean I consider myself more enlightened than the average person, but not certainly as knowledgeable as you two. But like I was on a website, it was an online chat, and I typed in, I don't understand what all the turmoil in Haiti is. You know, I said every few years there's a lot of turmoil, but I don't know why. And
They were the first country to have a revolution against slavery.
That's why. You go back to Jean-Jacques Dessalines, which actually it's a great. I brought him up last week on my show because he's a very impactful figure as far as Black history, believe it or not. Dessalines. And what he did was, per the Haitian revolt, it forced France to have to leave Haiti alone, and also they got rid of the Louisiana Purchase. So a third of the United States literally came out of his revolution.
right.
And cities like Chicago were literally founded by Haitian immigrants. And so there's so much history that goes into this stuff. And so the reason why Haiti is broke even to this day is because the U.S. with the other NATO powers helped France push for reparations on Haiti. So forcing them to pay exorbitant amounts of money, that's what kept that country poor and desolate. And then the U.S., what they always do is, if you don't want to go along as the president of that country, then we're going to either set you up as corrupt, we're going to coup you, whatever we have to do, run you out of the country, and then we'll put somebody in there who's going to play ball. And that's what keeps happening when they try to stop.
Remember Moise?
Yes, well, that's what happened with Moise.
They all include bringing American business to take over their resources
Exactly.
and make money off it sell to the U.S. That's what, until I heard that, it didn't, like I said, I didn't realize.
Yeah.
Because you don't hear it in the media. All you see is...
You're never going to hear this in the media.
Yeah, I know, understandably.
The answer to all of this is the U.S. is trying to establish a global, monopolar, hegemonic empire.
Or trying to maintain it.
They haven't really established it quite just yet.
Well, yeah, because they never could get Russia out of the way.
Russia and China, North Korea, Venezuela, Iran, there's probably a couple others I'm not thinking of. South Africa.
Kind of interesting. All those places you named don't have a federal bank.
And they're all targeted.
Yes. So everyone who is not part of the whole federal banking system or IMF drawn yeah. There you go. Well, yes, and the British are heavily involved in this.
Well, they stuck us into it, but not you. American empire, British empire.
Well, now we kind of like we kind of taken more of the power, but a lot of the money does come out of the British Empire.
You know where the financial headquarters is?
Yes, ma'am?
It's not New York, it's London.
Okay, definitely, ma'am. I'll be right over there.
You guys are way more knowledgeable than me. I'm going to get back to work.
All right. All right.
What about Zurich?
Well, you're my guy.
Well, the Bank of International Settlements is.
Mm-hmm.
True, yeah, it's part of the.
That's literally the top level of the pyramid.
Just let us know.
That's the bank amongst banks.
Oh yeah.
There's a guy named Ian Davis with an IAIN,
Uh-huh.
and he's done some great work basically explaining how the decisions are made at the Bank of International Settlements, and then it filters down through various, Chatham House, Council on Foreign Relations,
Oh yeah.
the WEF, and then it goes down to the politician level and corporations.
And then the media right after that.
Media, corporations, maybe even above the politicians, and then
Oh yeah, well politicians are just a step above police officers.
Right.
I mean, they're not really powerful in this whole thing.
if they had any power, they did anything they didn't want them to do, they'd be taken out immediately. And they got
Definitely.
compromise and all the rest of it, and then there's
Well, yeah.
just let.
Well, and then a lot of people have a hard time connecting all of these things together. Oh, well, I will let you talk. Thank you, sir.
Awesome.
Thank
Good
you.
to meet you.
All righty. Let me talk to this young lady over here.
Yes, young lady, I'm not. I want to be on the news.
Well, no, this is not the news. This
I
is
don't want to be. I don't
okay.
want to be.
All righty. So let's talk to some of these young communists over here.
Yes, let's go to the,
Sorry, is this out?
No. We're just rolling live.
Oh, okay.
Yes, this is my channel. So it's completely free speech platform. You gentlemen like to talk?
Hi.
Why you didn't want to talk?
So you just want me to just
Yeah,
say
just
something?
what brought you out here today?
Okay, the reason I'm here is because I support the Rage Against the War Machine action. The big one is in DC, and they got another
Yeah.
pretty good
I
one in
have some of my friends and colleagues who are heading out there. I think I just saw Savvy Sabs from Revolutionary Blackout and Savvy Sab show, and then I know Pastor Jordula, one of my buddies, he's out there also. Also, what's like one of these of the 10 points? Like, what are one of the main ones which have really convict you and made you really passionate about this?
The primary one that brings me out here today is the disbandment of NATO.
Yeah.
Particularly, I think it would be more beneficial for the United States to pull out of NATO. I'm not here to tell France to leave NATO, but I'm here.
I think that's going to probably happen though soon, believe it or not.
But as an American, I want my own country to pull out and stop funding and driving forward this imperialist war machine. Right now, NATO expansion is escalating toward, what we colloquially call World
War III, definitely.
Yeah. I brought these signs out that our friends were luckily nice enough to hold for us. They say no World War III. Zelensky is a rabid dog. It also says no war with Russia, because if the U.S. goes to war with Russia, that could potentially be
particularly catastrophic and be nuclear.
It will most likely be a nuclear conflict. Especially given the fact that Russia is now part of a rising multipolar world with BRICS, Brazil, Russia,
China, South Africa.
They are all.
And I've actually heard that there's been other nation states which have been plying the BRICS to try to join also.
Yeah, I don't know the number. I think last I heard it was 13 other countries are in support of BRICS and potentially interested in joining it. But however, BRICS is not a military alliance. It's an economic alliance. So BRICS isn't necessarily be adverse to NATO, but it definitely is something that poses a threat to U.S. imperialist hegemony. As for this specific event here, I'm out here waving my red banners with the Party of Communists USA and the League of Young Communists USA, being the youth league of the party.
Okay.
We're out here to just show that American communists are here in support of these demands, and we're not sectarian. We're not going to shut anybody out because they're libertarian or with the People's Party. While they're not communists, we are all working people in the United States.
Yeah.
We all share the same material conditions. We all are living under the same world leaders. And I think it's pretty obvious that we all don't want nuclear war. And
Well-
even if it's not nuclear, we don't want.
Well, I don't think I'm wondering. Do you feel that enough people who maybe not necessarily communists, but maybe some of the people who are socialists or democratic socialists, if they see the urgency of the moment, that the way you see it, do you feel like in your circles that you're seeing this urgency or understanding of the gravity of the situation that we're possibly facing?
If you're asking about my specific circle, I can't speak about internationally or just on the
Oh, of course.
Of course, I have not seen anybody. In fact, I've actually seen some other people who call themselves leftists, whether they're with democratic socialists or whether they're even just Democrats or another.
Let me bring you closer, just in case they don't hear you.
Yeah, or another kind of ideological denomination.
Your red flag ain't red enough.
Was it somebody? I know.
No, you're fine.
Hey, communist guy.
The other people I've seen have been, at the very least, skeptical of this event, especially because it was on the national level. It was organized by the Libertarian Party.
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like there's very much participation by the Libertarian Party here, but I do see a few people, maybe based on their message on their side.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't feel that the so-called American left really feels this urgency and understands that this needs to be issue number one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that this is the issue that threatens the existence of humans.
Yeah, literal billions of people can die.
Absolutely.
No matter what your political affiliation or goals or whatever it is, all that goes out the window once nuclear war. Actually, not even just nuclear war. Once World War III happens, because the society massively changes, and that's not going to be, it's not. A lot of people, I think, because of America, they haven't felt the impacts of war. They're kind of a little aloof to it. And I don't think that they get the gravity of, if it's World War III, it's going to be not like just going to Afghanistan or Iraq. Americans are going to feel the impact from that.
Yeah, absolutely. Particularly with, the two big ones, Russia and China. They are at our level or are in and around above or below our level, militarily, economically. They have populations that are larger than ours.
Yes.
They have, also they have nuclear weapons. So they are not.
Yeah, it's not equivocal to these other wars that have, so-called wars that have went on.
Not to mention those conflicts were not won by the United States. They. The propaganda and the educational system might have you believe that they were, or that we had some sort of beneficial effect in those countries. But truly, if we were to try to attempt that to any degree against Russia, China, or any of their allies, that is an almost certain full-scale escalation into international.
Definitely. Well, I appreciate your time. What was your name again?
My name is Tucker.
Tucker. And if you want to, if you ever want to come on for an interview on my channel sometime, are you on Twitter or social media?
Yeah, I have Facebook. I'm on Instagram.
Okay, well, just look for Marcus Cage, and then you'll be able to find me. Just send me a message, and then I'm pretty good at responding to everybody. Yes, good luck, gentlemen. Wish you the best. Let's go on to see who else we can talk to before we get ready to wrap it up.
I'm sorry, what was the name of your channel?
The name of my channel, The Political Matrix.
Political Matrix.
Yes.
So I can watch it there?
Yes. I'm on YouTube. I'm actually on Twitter also right now. It's streaming live. Let's see, was it YouTube, Twitter, my Facebook channel, and then later on I will be uploading this to what is that? Rockfin.
So this was live?
Yes. Actually, we're still live.
Oh, okay. Did you want to,
But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off, and then I'll do some conversations and chit chat. All right, so just give me one moment, and then I'll be ready. So thank you everybody for joining. This is the Political Matrix. Me and Chris, we will see you guys later on tonight for our regular show. Sorry if I didn't get to any questions that were in there on my phone, so it's a little bit different. First time kind of doing it this way, which I will do more like on the street, just live stuff. Now that I have a battery life to be able to do this, and definitely appreciate you. See you guys all later on. Thank you so much.